What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XYO today. It is the third day of February. Here we are, sitting at about $0.0048. That's roughly half 1 cent. 7 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Let's get into it, okay? XYO clearly in what seems to me to be some type of accumulative phase. I don't know if you'd call it Wyckoff. I don't know. I'm not an expert in Wyckoff or anything like that, but it certainly seems to be an accumulative phase here. I mean, we zoom out. It's been a while since we talked about XYO. That's why I'm talking about it. I've chosen to talk about it. We zoom out here. We have broken structure. We've definitely broken this structure here, this channel here. However, we still have a higher low overall. And we've been consolidating here since November. Most cryptos have actually seen lower lows. You're not seeing lower lows, which doesn't mean you're absolved of going lower. But outperforming is a good thing, not a bad thing. If we're looking at this here, from a low to a high, you found support at your golden ratio, came back down, rejected your golden ratio 7 times, finding support at the 786. I don't like this formation, okay? I don't like this formation. I don't like that you're getting further and further and further and further away from the golden ratio, right? Like you're coming lower, lower with your results here. And maybe this one's not fair to include, but just still lower highs, and it's like you have less oomph. You are breaking out here to the downside, but you're not like your breakout's not breaking. If it sounds confusing, if it sounds like it's conflicting, it's because it is. It is. It's absolutely confusing and conflicting. There's probably just as many good things as there are bad things going on. And that's not a good thing. That's just not a bad thing either. We have a lower low close here, and there's no volume. I'll tell you one thing. If this was reversed, if we were moving up like this, we were waiting for this whole little phase here to break out to the upside, and this is what we had with very low volume, I would be scared to death right now that we were going to plummet. But again, the scale's inverted. Technically, that would mean a pump. I was about to lean toward a bearish effect, and the reason why I was going to lean toward the bearish side is because I'm a fib guy. I'm a fib. The Fibonacci retracement tool typically leads me the right way, but not always. No tool is perfect, and not every tool gets it right every single time. Typically, in this environment where you're rejecting the golden ratio like this and flirting with the 786, you do go lower. No ands, ifs, or buts. It's infallible. It's inevitable. You'll go to the 1272 or lower, and that would be from here, 0.0013 or lower. You're at 0.00478. That's huge. Just because it's huge doesn't mean it can't happen, but again, that's what this breakout would imply. So where's the volume? Where's the freaking out? Why isn't this happening? Bitcoin's dumping, everything else is dumping. Why aren't you? Why are you actually performing better than a lot of cryptos since November? Makes me think that we're going to see a fake out. We'll probably reverse to the opposite end. And if that's true, I wouldn't be surprised if we got to this area, this area up here where we found support and resistance before. If we got to that zone, as a direct result of this move here. Daily time frame. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and zoom out, okay? That's my stance for the time being. You are in the danger zone. You are definitely in the danger zone. You still have higher macro lows. You're in the danger zone. But I think you're also in fake out territory where you're about to reverse to the upside. We'll see. 1 hour time frame here. Man, Bitcoin's going lower too. I really did think that we were going to bounce here. To be fair, I called for a bounce right here. And we did bounce. We dumped a lot lower on the next one. I don't expect Bitcoin to make it easy. But before we get further on this XYO thing, I'm just thinking out loud here. It's very obvious. It's very obvious that we're at a low point here. That we're probably not going to push dramatically. I mean, it's not that we can't go lower. It's not that this has to be the low. Maybe we do go to low. Maybe this is not the obvious low. But it's obvious that we're at a low point, that we're at an area where it would make sense to at least recover a little bit, right? At least do some of the stuff that we were doing for months before, right? You know, sideways and chopping, if not full-blown recovery. It is obvious, and so they're going to have to make it not obvious. They're going to have to scare you. They're going to have to make you panic sell. There was this perfect-looking inverse head and shoulders, and then they dumped. They got rid of it. That's going to make people panic sell. We're going to see a lower low. It's a busted pattern, and then we pump afterwards. It was never an inverse head and shoulders. It was a, I don't know what you'd call that pattern. But anyways, I don't buy it for 1 second. I think Bitcoin will recover. All calls aside, I think that it will recover here very soon. I think that XYO will recover as well. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, it's very choppy, very minimal movement. I don't know how useful this is going to be. I don't want to look at the 1 hour. I want to look at the 4 hour. And I'm not choosing not to look at the 1 hour because it's super bearish. It gives me a headache. The 4 hour kind of looks like a diamond bottom here, kind of. That little like divot in the middle, that gives it away typically. Obviously the structure too. The MACD, it's just going to be useless, man. We're so choppy and sideways. It's not going to be helpful at all. Like, yes, we're up here. We find resistance here typically. That might call for us to go down. The short-term stuff is weird. But from a daily perspective, we typically do seem to, even on our downward sloping trends in our sideways times and our upwards times, we typically do seem to find support right around the area that we are now with the RSI. That doesn't mean that we can't go lower. We can go a little bit lower, but still we're in that area, that low area. Stochastics are oversold. The MACD here, the MACD is crossing below the zero and building bearish momentum. That's not a good sign at all. So what we need to do is make a stand here. You need to start moving up a little bit, or at least stop moving down, so that this MACD bearish momentum can die off a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, you bounce in this area and you continue to go. I do believe you're in fake out territory. I do believe you'll recover, but let's talk about the bad stuff. Let's talk about what happens if I'm wrong and we're not going to bounce from here. I would say your best hope then is that you bounce off the 886, and you gotta bounce, man. You gotta see some rapid recovery there. It can't be like a multi-month process and then you bounce. No, we don't want to see that. We've seen that, and that just leads to a lower high, right? You want to bounce there. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you do, by the way, sometimes you do have to be choppy and sideways for a long time before you actually find your low. That's not always the case. But just in this moment, I would expect a bounce because, again, there's very low volume. Very, very low volume. So we should be able to eat this back if we do move down. But if that doesn't hold, if the 886 doesn't hold, XYO is in real trouble. Like real trouble. If you can't hold 00382 for support, you are condemned to lower macro lows overall and like an overall macro downtrend. I mean, this would be the death of the project, in my opinion, if it went down there. So you want to hold your ground here. It's okay if this is not the low. It's okay if you go a little bit lower. We do not want to go below 0038. If you do, wicking is okay, but daily closes, death is what that means. And it's pretty scary already with the rejections off the golden ratio. So your primary goal at this point should be to close above here. If you can get a close above 0081, then I think you're safe. But until then, we are in the hot seat. I have confidence we'll move up. The call is to the upside, not to the downside. I would tell you it's to the downside if I thought it was to the downside. But I will be bearish if we start closing days below this 0038 level. I'll see you on the next one. Hit that like button. Take care. Thank you all. Bye-bye.